Hello, this is Sarah and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be showing you how to make paper calla lilies with cardstock paper. Please like this video below and subscribe to my channel. You could also find the supplies listed below the video along with the template to cut this with your Cricut, Silhouette, or other cutting machines. And I also have a printable version to hand cut for those that don't have a cutting machine. First, have the flower cut on white cardstock paper and use this scoring fine detailed tool point on this mat that I'll be linking below. I score lines that I would draw that are curving towards the pointed tip, starting from the center where it has the pointy tip on the center, curve going towards the pointed tip. The piece that has this pointy tip on the center will be referred as the top piece. The lines don't have to be perfect, it's just to add some texture. Go back to the top piece that has that center pointy tip. There is this subtle tab on the right and left of this piece. Curl in those tabs. Then go on to the next piece, and this one only has a subtle tab on one side and curl that in. Go on to the next one. These tabs will be less visible as you go down, so slightly curl them in. The last bottom one will just be overall curled in, since this one does not have a visual tab. Then go back to the top piece again, and now work the other direction with the tabs going the opposite direction, and continue to curl the tabs in and go down the piece on the other side, and the last piece will also just be slightly curled in overall. Next, we will curl back the tips, starting from the top piece with that center pointy tip. And same to the next piece, curl back just the tip. Only for the bottom last piece, I curl back towards the outer curved side. Then go back to the top and work the other direction the same way. I use white glue that I'll be linking below. Glue those tabs that curled in. Glue closest to the edge and use this fine tip that helps the glue to come out in smaller amounts. Then turn it around and glue the edge on the next piece, but I only glue about an inch below the pointy tip on the top. Then turn it around again and connect those glued edges and hold it down for a few seconds until the glue is set. And then go back to connect the pointy tips. Add some glue on the back side of that curved pointy tip and push that tip back so that the pointy tip connects to the curved top piece. You'll see that these pieces both curl back naturally when you push that tip back. Next, go onto the side tab that same direction and add glue closest to the edge. Then flip it around and then add glue on the next piece on the edge. But right before the pointy tip again and attach that piece on top. Then go back and add glue on the rest of the tip, and we will also be pushing that tip back so it meets up at the edge on top. If these edges don't meet up, it's okay. We can go back and trim it down, but the edges were measured out pretty well so that all the pieces should meet. But sometimes you might miss lining the tip correctly, which will be fine. You just need to go back and trim it down like this when I made already. Okay, going back to the one we were working on, continue the same direction and add glue on the edge of the tab and then flip it around and glue the next piece edge to attach them together. And then this should be the last piece on this side, and this last piece doesn't really have to be pushed back too much. Just try to meet them at the edges. Then I use my curling tool and curl the edges on the other side to curl back, even going down onto the side. Then we'll go back to the center piece and we will start gluing the other way. Gluing the tabs on the edges and flipping it around and gluing the next piece only up to about ½ an inch or so below the pointy tip. Then attach together and go back to that pointy tip and push that tip back as you glue them. and then glue on the next piece until you are at that last piece again. The bottom pieces should create like a letter V at the end, and we don't attach this together. This could be closed up by just molding the sides onto itself. And now go back and trim any sides you think it needs trimming. Then I use pan pastels that I'll be linking below and this blending brush, and add some yellow on the bottom outside. I go about a third of the way up and blend it out so there are no harsh lines. You could also add some green. Some of these calla lilies have some yellow on the bottom. Some are green, so you can mix and match. Some don't have any color, so you can kind of choose what kind of color you want. Then use satin Mod Podge and start from the inside, going along the lines that we created by the creases and the lines where the pieces were connected. This should take about 10 to 15 minutes to dry. So while this is drying, we will take yellow tissue paper, and I take about 8 inches of a strip and fold it into a height that will be right below the calla lily flower we made. This tissue paper does not have to be yellow. I just happen to have the yellow. It could be any color tissue paper, and then glue this to the thicker floral wire and roll the tissue paper neatly onto the floral wire. Then go back and use white floral tape and cover up the yellow tissue paper. You could also just use yellow tissue paper to cover this part up to make it look cleaner, but I tried to get it as smooth as possible with floral tape. Then I added yellow pan pastels, then go back to the calla lilies. The inside should be dried, and flip it over to Mod Podge the bottom and go along the lines as well here. Then Mod Podge the yellow centerpiece as well, and we will leave these to the side for it to dry, and again it should take about 15 minutes to fully dry. Next will be our leaves, and you can do these leaves in a variety of sizes, varying between an inch bigger or smaller than what I suggested on my file, and fold this in half. And we'll do this fan fold but in a diagonal direction, so when you look at it, the creases are going diagonally towards the center. When you actually open the leaf up, you'll see the folds going down towards the middle like the letter V. There will be a small piece that pairs with the leaf, and fold this also down the middle. Then add white glue and add a thicker floral wire, and add a little more glue on top of that wire, and add this to the bottom of the leaf. Then go back and add Mod Podge on just the top side of the leaf, and I make strokes going along the crease lines like a letter V as well, and put those to the side for it to fully dry. And go back to the calla lilies and poke a hole and add the yellow center, and add hot glue to attach them to the flower. Then add an extra wire that's the same height of the wire inside the flower, and one that's about halfway. This is optional, but I thought the stems for the calla lilies tend to be very thick, so I am trying to make the stem thicker by adding these. Then floral tape the wire and go down the wire, and about halfway where the smaller floral wire piece ends, add the leaf and finish the rest of the stem. Shape out the leaf, and you could also add more or less leaves here. I also made a few more of the calla lilies, and I thought they would pair really well with other paper flowers or a bundle on its own for a bridal bouquet or just as a gift. You could also find other paper flower tutorials and templates linked below my video. And please like this video as well below and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.